Good day, my esteemed viewers and listeners out there. It's yet another lovely week, and I'm so glad to be back again. I am Zachary Yusuf, your host on the program, Mobilizing for Development, M4D for short. And today in the studios, I have a group of community-based organizations that will definitely be looking at improving community participation in governance. And remember, M4D aims to enhance local governance and contribute to improved local service delivery in selected LGAs of Kano, Kaduna and Jigawa states. M4D, that is Mobilizing for Development, is funded by the UK Department for International Development and managed by the Palladium Group. Once again, I am your host, Zachary Yusuf, and my guest in the studio from my extreme right is Muftahu Abdu Sankara. He's the Secretary, Sankara Development Association. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right, and let me go to my extreme left, where I have Muteka Suleiman Abubakar. He's a community-based member of KEDA, that's Kechia Educational Development Association. You're welcome, Muteka.
Thank you very much.
And of course, I have Haja Abu Alasan from Dr. Jofa Local Government, representing Women Association. You're welcome. All right, it's all set. Like I did mention, time is changing, and so does the people. And we are talking about community participation in governance. So let me start firing the question. How important is it that community members participate in governance?
Oh, Alhamdulillah. This is a very good question. It is very important that community members were involved in governance, right, because they will know what the government is and all the projects that the government intends to do. After completion, the community will have a sense of belonging because it has come from them. They were involved in the decision and even in the implementation.
Right.
So it is very important that community were carried along in governance.
All right. I don't know. Yes. You want to add something to that?
Yeah, I want to add
All
something.
right, let's hear you talk.
Definitely, community participation in governance, more especially in the local government level. Before the coming of M4D, that is Mobilizing for Development, people doesn't know their right. That is the community, more especially at the grassroots level. They will not be able to participate or to consider local government as part and parcel of their community. Definitely what they normally do with the coming of M4D, now community start involving in the governance at the local government level. Take for example, they can be able to submit their demands, that is what they want government to do for them, or they can be able to hear the feedback from the government or from the community. They will accept that. And then at the same time, there must be accountability. That is the resources are using properly in the local government.
All right, that's very good. Again, Hajja Zainabu, I'm sure you might have one or two things to say about this.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Actually, the importance of community participation and governance cannot be overemphasized, because when people are involved in the affairs of their community, they are contributing towards achieving the societal aims and objectives. And in addition, their participation in governance assists in cutting some misplacements of priorities.
All right, so which means community participation in governance is absolutely a necessity that definitely must be imbibed by all.
Of course.
All right, Muftahu, let's look at it. Is the participatory approach to governance working in your LGA?
The participatory approach is working.
It's working.
Is working in Ringim local government.
All right.
It's working.
What about you? Is it working in your area?
It's working.
Haja? It's working.
Yes.
Wow. All right now. So the evidence do you have? Because if you say something is working, there must be something for you to show that absolutely is working. Muftahu, what evidence is there to show?
In Ringim local government of Jigawa state, there is an interface meeting between the local government, that is the chairman, the councillors, and the service provider, the HOD, and the community-based organizations. This interface is taking place quarterly, and there are town hall meetings where citizens voice their demand to the local government. And then again, if you take a budget of the local government within the last 3 years, if you take a budget of Ringim local government, it is full with the demands of citizens of Ringim local government. They call them from the call circular. If the call circular is released, they call them to present their demand, and the citizen follows that local government official to the local to the State House of Assembly for hearing and ensure that their demands were incorporated into the budget. And even the leads of the local government, it is, if you saw it, it is morally the demand of communities that were written in that local government development strategy. That's a lead. So it is really working, and there are evidences that it is working in Ringim local government.
All right, it's working in Ringim. Is it working in your area as well?
Yeah, it's working so much working so in the Kachia. Yeah. First of all, with the coming of the M4D, definitely there is one department called ESD, that is social, educational and social development. So there is a community officer there. So where each and every demand came from the communities, you have to log it there. There is book provided by the local government. You have to log it there, then before you can take it off. After what my friends say, or my colleagues say, there are a lot of evidences, not only in carry out the duty or demanding or whatsoever town hall meeting or interface meeting. It happened everywhere. That is in my area. So what happened is that even the monitoring the project in our locality, that is the community, are now foot eyes and monitoring project in our community. There is one incident that happened in our local government. That is, there is JSS Kachia, whereby the state government is renovating the JSS, the school now. So what happened is that the contractor is not follow what is written in the bill of quantity, and we follow him, and we got the bill of quantity. Then after we supervise, our team of engineers go through it, and they find that he is doing something different with what is in the bill of quantity. Then we call his attention, and he never talked to us. Then we write a petition to the governor. And likewise, in part of health sector, community members or community organization are now part of the mobilizing the people toward this eradication of polio. So we are part of it. Even in the educational system, KEDA is part of that. It's as a community-based organization, because we have some trophies we fit to compete in primary school, junior secondary school, and senior secondary school.
All right, thank you, Muteka, for that. And I'm quite sure now that evidences are abound for everyone to see that community participation in governance is actually working. Haji Abu, what strategies? Now let's look at, it's working, yes, it's working. Let us look at strategies that were used to make this approach work.
Okay. The strategies adopted by my local government to make community participation more effective include the sensitization awareness exercise conducted across the local government. And we carried out advocacy visits to traditional rulers, whereby the community were informed on the importance of their participation in governance. So all class of people comprising of the religious leaders, girls platforms, people with disabilities, and women organizations were all invited to the forum so that they can have a say in the community affairs of their people. So therefore, this platform of the strategy used to make this workable. And in another way, and another workshop was conducted, whereby trainer workshop was done to community-based organization, where they in turn stepped down the training to smaller organizations across the local government.
Right.
So through that, their consciousness was aroused, and they become active in participating in the affairs of their governments.
Okay, it's not an easy thing, I know, because whenever a new policy or system is on ground, there's always bound to be problems, or better still, we call it challenge, and in some instances, we might call it conflicting interest. Now, Muftahu, let's look at, this kind of approach does not come without conflicting interest here and there. How these interests are resolved at the end of the day?
As my colleague has said, before this thing is not happening. Before the community participation, before mobilizing for development, came and engages the CBOs and the local government, the policymakers and service providers. It is not happening. But it started because of the capacity, because the mobilizing for development has built the capacities of the policymakers, the service providers, and the community members, that's the CBOs. So, by building that capacity of the policymakers, this is what you do. This is what you do to respond to this. And if you involve community, so a range of local government, generally, the thing doesn't come out with too much conflict or something like that, because M4D has taken care of that conflict issue. The only thing is that the CBOs advocate to the policymakers, and the policymakers see the CBOs as a partner. Especially during the last year, we have a recession in the country, so the policymakers involve the CBO in the internal generated revenue, so that all bodies work out, so that we work together. So in general, everything we look at them, we don't have that much conflict to see.
All right, let's look at Kecha. Now, your partner here says M4D probably might have made the enabling environment by sensitizing the supply side and the demand side as well. In Kecha, do you have the same problem?
Yeah, we have the same problem. But you know that in anything that brought, if it is in terms of development, so there must be a negotiation. We plan on how to go about issue of conflict interest in our communities, because whether you like it or not, it is something that you can never run away from it. So therefore, with negotiation and for advertising, there is one village we go, when we went there for mobilizing them, that is to bring out their demands, that is to cooperate or to during budget, to present it as a demand during budget. This is what they want. So no matter how people gather together at the village head, palace, then what happened is that what we thought the actual problem that is, what the actual challenges in that locality. Yeah. When we go to the people, after needs analysis, then we advertise, we find out that it's a different things that come out. So that is what we are doing. That is what we are using to bring out or to come down with the interest, conflict interest in our communities.
Now, Hajia, we're talking about conflicting interests. For instance, the community bring out their demands, and those who will be doing the supply chain have something different in their mind. How were you able to put these differences aside in the working federal government area?
Okay, conflicting interests are bound to happen when such meetings are conducted between service providers, policymakers, and the community as well. But most of the time, when such things happen, a system of adopting dialogue and consultation is being taken, whereby the community will present their demand, and when it is not being accepted by the service providers, it has to be told before the whole people within that forum, because there are divergent interests, different. What will be good for one will not be good for the other. But we have to sit down and discuss amicably, come out with proven facts and figures, and also come up with evidence to convince the people. So through that, you can be able to scale off your demands or needs that you wish to sell off through that communication.
All right. In the case of course, where we have conflicting or divergent views
interest, yes,
on issues, dialogues, you said, is definitely the only way forward. In that forum, everybody brings out, this is what we want, or no, due to one reason or the other, we can't do this, and everybody agrees. The community, of course, will settle for one. Okay, you want to add something to that?
No,
No, okay. Well, I saw your hands up, like that. So again, let's begin to look at, after this approach was tested and evaluated to be successful in the LGAs, how is it being taken forward? For instance, in Kachia.
In Ringim.
Yes, Ringim.
Yes.
Okay.
After it was tested, I evaluated and tested. This approach needs to be scaled off to other local governments and ministries and states,
Yeah.
because there are communities in our communities that we are empowered. We know that this is working, and the other thing. Taking it to other communities will definitely help the system, so that there will be a trust between the policymakers and the community.
Scaling it down to other
yes,
local
to
government
yes.
areas and perhaps states.
Yes, and perhaps states.
All right. In Kachia?
Yeah.
Yes.
In our part, definitely you know that M4D are working in 3 states. That is why Kaduna is part of it.
Yeah.
And in Kaduna, they are working in 3 local governments.
Yeah.
And Kaduna has 3 senatorial zones,
Yeah.
whereby we have far north, that is Zaria. We have Kaduna Central and Southern Kaduna.
Right.
So Kachia is part of the Southern Kaduna. And the Southern Kaduna has 8 local governments. And in Kachia itself, M4D is working only in 6 wards out of 12.
Wow.
Then we as a local government, M4D CBOs, that is community-based organization, we train, we involve, we incorporate one of our wards now is part of the M4D program, cooperated into the M4D program by Kachia Educational Development Association, that is KEDA. We have done that, and the others ward is followed now, that is Kwaturu. We are on the process of cooperating them into, and we give them training how to participate in their local governments, in the governance at the grassroots level. And then also, there is some M4D shoulder the town hall meeting we have. We train the remaining 6 local governments in Southern Kaduna how to participate, how community members or community organizations are participating in the local government's affairs. That is like what we did in Kachia, or what is happening in Kachia. Definitely, when you go to the M4D local government or M4D ward, you will see a lot of differences, because we have been trained and we have given capacity building, and we know how to work with the policy makers and service providers at the local level, even at the state. Likewise, in the state, there is time when governor came to Kachia for a town hall meeting. With the training I got, I stand off and make a request from governor. I told him that we have a secondary school, that is GSS Kachia. It's one of the best school. It's one of the first school created or built by the state government. So all the materials are there, things are there, but the school is not a boarding school. It's a day school. And the other schools, they are doing boarding schools. So we call the attention of governor, and now the school is under renovated. So likewise, we make an also approach to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry. And we built, now they construct a borehole, that is motorized borehole, in one of our neighbors' hall secondary school at Kachia.
All right. Let's look at in Kano.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, the viability of making this approach to be workable will actually be based on policy formulation. As in the case of Kano State, the state government has made it a policy that no any budget being prepared by the local government will come for defense without consulting the populace. So therefore, the demands of the society must come forward first in such a way that the decisions form a basis for bottom to top approach. They present their issues during the annual budget planning preparatory stages so that they incorporate their demand. So when you make a policy, when the government make a policy that each local government must first consult its community-based organization to forward their needs for inclusion into budget formations, definitely this approach will continue to work very well. And it's going to be successful with the people coming together and an inclusive participatory governance is bound to prevail.
All right. We are talking about improved service delivery in our communities, and the only way to do that, M4D has been in the forefront in championing the cause of community participation in governance, particularly issues that affects the annual budgets. Let's go back to Muftau, and we're talking about the policymakers, service providers. Now, does this approach make all of these three approachable, particularly by the community?
Truly. The environment is now conducive.
Okay.
The service providers, the policymakers were working together. So in a nutshell, the policymakers find it very easy because they now conduct town hall meeting in not even within the local government headquarters, but they even go out to villages to make town hall meetings. They even went out to villages to make town hall meetings. And this, as I told you, the interface meeting. So if you go to our schools, if you go to our hospitals, the system is really working, and the service providers and policymakers are really enjoying it because it has eased the burden on them, and it has made the projects being executed by them to be the communities were owning it, not that they are doing it for them because it is their demand.
Right. If we look at Dokidofa, for instance, Hajia, the most important thing is articulation of all these issues. The community come out with their project. Has it been able to actually make policymakers approachable by the community, just like what Ringen talked about? We have an easy flow of traffic. People can see their policymakers and approach them without any problem. Like in those days, the policymakers would not want to see the people from the community. They more or less like it's a trouble. But in Dokidofa, what's the situation like?
Well, the situation at Dokidofa, when we take into consideration this issue of community participation,
Yeah.
The involvement in the affairs of governance has made the relationship between the policymakers and the community to become cordial, in the sense that they have now become partners in progress. They are ready to accept them at any time when they come up with their demands, and they become known to each other, and they resolve amicably on issues which they have, which they are unable to get through, probably in terms of meeting their needs. Because as I've said earlier on, at times there could be conflicting issues. This community wants this and the other community wants that. So in that community there may be a duplication of some needs, while in other community they don't have such need, such products are not needed. So when it comes to such situation, the community, the service providers and policy makers come together as brothers and discuss the issue and resolve with peaceful understanding.
So with this new system, the approach is quite easy.
It's quite easy.
In Kachia, you have the same scenario. I'm sure.
Yes, we have the same scenario, but in Kachia, definitely we have good cordial relationship with service providers and policy makers because we are working together. Like, take for example, now we are on the process of presently now we are doing budget briefing. That is, we are going word by word to do budget briefing. That is to enlighten the people about the duties and responsibility of budget department in the local government. Because before then, people at the grassroots level doesn't know what is the actual responsible or what is the responsible of budget department. So now we are going around, KEDA as a local government, M4D, CBO, we are going around village, district by district, ward by ward. We are on the process of doing that. And at the same time, we have interface meeting, where when we come to the interface meeting, the most important thing we used to discuss there is challenges and progress report. You can bring the challenge and the progress report. That is what we are usually do when we bring a challenge, like say there is one community or one village that brought they don't have enough technical staff in their clinic. So we address in the interface meeting. He brought that challenge as he brought that problem as a challenge in their community. Then the head of health say, okay, they will look onto it. So next meeting when we meet, we ask him.
All right, I'm sure by now we're already in the late October, somewhere within the last quarter of the year. Cost circular for 2018 budget is already out. In your local government, is it out now? Cost circular?
Cost circular is out and
is out.
It's out.
All right. In Darkin, cost circular is out.
Yeah.
All right, that's the opportunity it does for people, for the community to actually take governance to their own hands. Put your demands out there. Go out there and be part of the system. You have a say in government. This is where, of course, we'll pack it up for the program for this week. And again, before we go, for comments, views, you can also send your SMS, and we'll always give number at the end of the program. Now, you can send your SMS to 070-3131-4909. Again, for you to send your SMS for comment, views, and previews, it's 070-3131-4909. And you can also, because as usual, we encourage you to visit our website on www.mobilizingfordevelopment.com. And you should remember that M4D aims to enhance local governance and contribute to improve local government delivery or local service delivery in selected LGAs of Kano, Kaduna, and Jigawa State. M4D is funded by the UK Department for International Development and managed by the Palladium Group. On behalf of the entire production crew in the studios here, it's bye for now.